Are you being abused by your partner, spouse, or family member? If so, you may be eligible for a Family Abuse Prevention Act restraining order. Restraining orders are intended to keep survivors of domestic violence safe from abuse. A restraining order can require the person who is abusing you to stay away from you, to stop contacting you, and to move out of your home. A restraining order can also include temporary custody of parenting time orders for your children. In this video, we will explain who can get a restraining order and the type of protections that a restraining order can provide. We will also briefly explain how to apply for a restraining order.
In order to get a Family Abuse Prevention Act restraining order, you must meet 3 requirements. First, you must have the right type of relationship with the person who is abusing you, and we'll explain what this means in a moment. Second, you must have been abused in the last 6 months. Finally, you must be in danger of further abuse. As we just mentioned, you can only get a restraining order against someone if you and that person have a certain type of relationship. If you are an adult, you can get a restraining order against your spouse or former spouse, an adult with whom you live and have a sexual relationship, an adult with whom you had a sexual relationship in the last 2 years, an adult related to you by blood, marriage, or adoption, or the other parent of your child. If you're a minor, you can only get a restraining order against your spouse or former spouse, or an adult with whom you had a sexual relationship.
In addition to having the right type of relationship with the person who abused you, you must have been abused by them in the past 180 days or approximately 6 months. That means they either caused you physical injury, attempted to cause you physical injury, did something that made you afraid they would hurt you, or forced you to have sex. Emotional abuse alone does not qualify you for a Family Abuse Prevention Act restraining order. If your abuse occurred more than 6 months ago, you may still be able to apply for a restraining order if the person who abused you was in jail or lived more than 100 miles away from you. Finally, to be eligible for a restraining order, you must also be in imminent danger of further abuse, and the person who abused you must be a credible, meaning likely, threat of further abuse. This means that it is very likely you will be abused again in the future if you do not get a restraining order.
A FAPA restraining order can include a variety of different protections. When you request your order, you can ask that the judge make specific orders to meet your situation. Your restraining order can require that the person who is abusing you stop contacting you in person, by telephone, or other electronic means, such as email or text. Your restraining order can also require that the person stay a reasonable distance away from you, your home, or your work. The order can also require that the person who is abusing you not contact you through friends, family members, or other third parties. If you have a child or children with the person that's been abusing you, your order can issue you a temporary custody order over that child. If your order gives you custody and the child is with the person who has been abusing you, you can ask the judge to order the police to assist you in getting your child back.
If you are living with your abuser and your name is on the rental agreement or deed, or you are married to that person, you can ask the judge to order him or her to move out of your residence. If you move out, you can request that a police officer go with you to the home and wait for 20 minutes while you remove your essential personal belongings. For example, your medicines, birth certificate, passport, toiletries, and other basic necessities. The judge can also grant you other protections if they are necessary for your safety or the safety of your children. For example, you can ask the judge to order that the respondent pay you emergency monetary assistance so you can change your locks or pay for other safety-related expenses. You can also ask the judge to include an order providing for the safety of your pets. If the person who was abusing you has firearms, you can ask that he or she not be allowed to possess firearms while your restraining order is in place.
If you decide that a restraining order is right for you, applying for one is a fairly simple process. You fill out and file your restraining order paperwork in the court in the county where you or the respondent live. There's no cost for getting a restraining order. The restraining order forms are available at your local courthouse and can also be found online at courts.oregon.gov under the Self-Help drop-down menu. When you fill out the paperwork, you will be asked to describe the abuse you experienced in the last 6 months. You should write down all the abuse you've experienced in the last 6 months, unless there are too many incidents to write down. In that case, write down only the most serious incidents of abuse. There's also a section for you to write down the abuse that occurred more than 6 months ago, and it's important for you to fill out this section as well, if it applies to you. After you finish filling out your restraining order paperwork and deliver it to the court staff, you'll need to see a judge so they can review your paperwork. If you turn in your paperwork in the morning, you'll usually be able to see a judge the same day that you apply. The judge will read over your restraining order paperwork and may ask you some additional questions. The judge will grant you a restraining order if you meet all the requirements we discussed previously. If you do not meet all the requirements, the judge will not grant you a restraining order. However, you may file a new petition if you experience further abuse.
If you would like more information about restraining orders in Oregon, you can go to our website, OregonLawHelp.org, for free legal information. You may also want to watch our other videos on restraining orders. If you would like to speak to an attorney, but you cannot afford one, you may be able to get free legal help from legal aid attorneys in Oregon. To find your local legal aid office, visit OregonLawHelp.org. You can click on the Use This Map option on the right side of the website to find the office that serves your county. If you can afford to pay an attorney, but do not know one, you can call the Oregon State Bar Lawyer Referral Service at 503-684-3763 or toll free at 1-800-452-7636. They can help you find an attorney that is familiar with your type of case.